Agency. Let's go to Dan Olson now. He's the Executive Director of the San Juan Citizens Alliance. It's a local non-profit organisation that advocates for clean air, pure water and healthy lands. He's joining us live from Durango in Colorado. Very good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. If I can firstly get your reaction to this event, how could this have happened and triggered by the Environmental Protection Agency itself?
Sure. Well, thank you for having us on. And I think that as a community, we are very saddened as well as worried about what the future implications of this spill will be for communities up and down the Animas River and the San Juan River and even into the Colorado River. But it would be wrong to say that we're surprised. Unfortunately, we've been living with pollution from abandoned mines in the headwaters of the Animas for decades, if not over a century. And it's unfortunate that this event happened. But if there's a silver lining, it will be that it raises the specter of this pollution issue that's been plaguing our community for a very long time.
Tell us more about this pollution issue, because of course because people think of this entire area being very pristine, don't they?
They do, and I think it's a bit of a paradox because we do have incredible wilderness areas, and in many places this is a paradise for outdoor lovers and outdoor enthusiasts. The flip side of our community is that we have a long history of extractive industries, mining, as well as current extractive industries, whether it be coal mines and coal-fired power plants, oil and gas development, and a long history of uranium mining as well. So I think that this incident really underscores that behind the veneer or behind the reality of the wonderful wilderness and outdoor experiences, there's a whole other shadow economy that goes on here that has negative implications as demonstrated by this accident.
And what are some of the negative implications, future implications, the long-term effects to the river and the life surrounding it from this spill now?
You know, unfortunately, it's very hard to know at this point. We're still waiting on critical data from the EPA with regards to what exactly the contaminants are, at what levels, and how it's dispersing throughout the ecosystem. So we don't know right now. We know that the immediate impacts were less worse than they could have been, insofar as it appears that fish populations and macroinvertebrates have survived the initial plume. That is not necessarily an indicator for medium and long-term health. No one can adequately answer that question right now, and I think that's what's causing such angst among our communities, is we simply don't know.
Well, these, I know, are typically very busy summer days for both locals, for tourists using the river. How are people reacting there to this, ecological disaster?
You know, it's an ecological disaster, but it's also a very large economic disaster as well. As you mentioned, this is prime tourist season, whether it be rafting companies or fishing guides. There's a big tourism industry that is very adversely affected. But we also can't forget the municipal water users that depend on the Animas River for drinking water, as well as significant agricultural and ranching interests that are not only on lands and counties up and down the Animas, but also into the Navajo Reservation, which truly depend on this at this critical time of year for their agricultural and ranching livelihoods.
I know that the Silverton area lays claim to as many as something like 30 abandoned mines. Could they experience a similar event? How do you stop something like this from happening again? I mean, what does the EPA have to do now?
Sure. Well, with regards to the area around Silverton specifically, or actually put it even in broader context, there's 22,000 abandoned mines across the state of Colorado and over 5,000 in the Animas River corridor itself. So the numbers are quite staggering. In terms of this particular incident and this one area of highly concentrated historic mining issues, we really need to see more action from the EPA to bring the sufficient resources, whether that be money and technical expertise, to solve these problems. We, as a community, have been dealing with this for decades, and those efforts have been inadequate. We need more resources and we need more help.
Dan Olson, Executive Director of the San Juan Citizens Alliance, joining us live from Durango in Colorado there. Very good to have you with us on Al Jazeera. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, 6 people have died.